I've been working on my interpretation, so that's why I want to
All
see
right.
what you guys got to say. So the first one was really, really quick. My sons and I were riding around in our car together, and the boys were noticing the different cars that passed us by, and they kept making a big deal every time they saw a Dodge Charger go by. And our, viewpoint was from inside the car. We're watching them go by. Well, all of a sudden it changes, and I'm looking from above down at our car, and I realized that we're in a Dodge Charger, and that was the dream.
So they were looking for Dodge Chargers in particular. Right?
They were noticing those. They both really like Dodge Chargers. Think they're cool muscle cars, and so
How
got
old
excited
are they?
whenever they see. 7-year-old and 15-year-old.
Yeah, I think you need to buy them both Dodge Chargers.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. Make sure you share this dream with them. They'd love it.
It's their inheritance.
Yeah.
So can I tell you what I looked up, what I got?
Yeah.
So this dream, nothing was coming to me. So I was like, okay, let me dig a little bit and see. So I just went to Google, and I Googled Dodge Charger meaning, and there was an article about all the meanings of the different Dodge vehicles. And for the Charger, it said it's a horse trained for battle. The second meaning was a cavalry horse, and the biblical meaning was a bowl or deep dish used to hold the offering. And so for me, the boys are looking, they're seeing it, they're noticing, like, there's that cool car that we wish we had. And then we look from the other angle and notice, hey, we are in a Dodge Charger. And I felt like it was, me personally, that I'm watching these other ministries that I admire and, I guess you could say, want to be, used like that and effective like that. And that, he changed my viewpoint and showed me, like, hey, you are a Dodge Charger. You are horse trained for battle.
Yeah.
So, and then just even from the biblical meaning of it, that a charger is the bowl or a deep dish used to hold the offering. That's what I would hope that my life would be to God, is an offering to Him. So
yeah, it seems like we were joking about an inheritance earlier on, but that's really what it is. I mean, the meaning of the Charger, that offering is an inheritance that's going to your family. But the Charger is the horses, the horses for battle. I like your perspective. I do exercises with folks about different perspectives. One of them is, and this kind of fits with the car thing. You're driving along at 60 miles an hour, due east. There's a fly sitting on the dashboard. How fast is the fly going? It's just sitting there.
It's just sitting there.
Right. So is it going 0? But you're going 60 miles an hour. So is it going 60 miles an hour? Well, it's all a matter of perspective. From inside the car, there's you're going 0. You're not going, the fly is not going anywhere. But outside, you change your perspective, your frame of reference, and you see what you're really in. You're in the Dodge Charger. You own one of those. It's not a future thing for you. It's there. You got it already. You've already got it. You've already got the ministry that you need, and your sons are inside. So part of that is your ministry is to your sons right now. And the next go off planet, and you're going 1900 miles an hour, because that's how fast the planet is rotating at Florida. Well, for me it is, at least. So it just depends on your point of view. And God's perspective is even greater than that. He knows exactly what you need. He knows exactly what He's going to put in that Charger. He's going to fill it with an offering that you won't be able to handle. But that's a cool dream.
Wow, it was. I felt like just the fact that it was about muscle cars that I wanted to share it with y'all.
So
Yes.
nice.
So this other one, this is one that there's parts of it that don't come together for me, and so I just want to see what God shows you guys. So I had this one just a couple of weeks ago, and I dreamed that I was in a building that housed lots of different people, and it was broken down, and the foundation was being rebuilt. Some of the rooms on the different floors were still usable, but they were still in bad shape. At one point, I was climbing a ladder-like structure that led to the top floor. And when I got to the top of that ladder, there was like a loft bed on the right side. And I looked over and there was a boy in it. And I was opening my mouth and he looked at me and said, "Don't even think about it." So then I left the building, and the only way was to walk on broken boards, beams that were, like walking on a balance beam. I saw a couple that used to be a really big part of my life, but hurt me. And they were in the dream, and they were showing me how they navigated their way safely out of the house. When I was on my way back to the house, I had another woman with me, and we had to cross a long pier, and it was going over a pond, and we were hurrying because there was some nefarious men that we went by, and we thought they were coming after us. So we started running to get across the pier. I actually fell in the water, but jumped back up, got back on the pier. At some point, myself and many of the people from the house were in a large auditorium. We were suddenly we got on the run because the attendants at the auditorium turned into zombies and were like coming after us. So we all, were running out of that building as fast as we could. And we came out to like a dirt road, and it was lined with shrubs that went up as high as you could see. So kind of like being in a maze of shrubbery. And people would run into the shrubs and you wouldn't see them for a while. Then they would come running back out, and they were like in a panic from whatever they had experienced in there. So then I ran inside the bushes with the people that I was with, and there was these huge creatures in there, and they were chasing us. And then at the end of the dream, we escaped that place where the creatures were, and I was in a place that was open, peaceful, and the building that was in this area was all glass walls, and it was like, you could see everything on the floor, and it was very square. I mean, like straight angles, straight lines and sharp angles. And that was it.
There's a lot here. There's like 10 different themes going on. I do want to say the part about the pier, I heard, don't let what appears before you be a stumbling block to you. So, Neil, what do you got?
That seems like a spiritual warfare dream. That's one aspect of it, but it feels like this is kind of an experience you've had in a church that you might have been in, or a community that you've lived in, where the foundation of the church. Have you ever been in a church that's just a wreck?
Not. Oh, yeah. Been a lot of years ago, but yeah.
I don't know if this applies to that, but the foundation being damaged and then being rebuilt kind of feels like the firm foundation, or this thing was built not on the rock of Jesus, but on something else, and they're trying to rebuild it. But this building is a disaster. I mean, you don't have an elevator to go to the top floor. You don't even have stairs. You got a ladder, and you get up into the loft, and there's a boy there who seems unattended in a bed, and you open his mouth to say your mouth to say something. Do you know what you were going to say when he said, "Don't even think about it"?
I felt like I was going to offer him help.
And this boy doesn't seem to want it. because he says don't even think about it, because he seems to understand what you were going to offer. So it's everything about this building is just kind of dilapidated, wrong. It's backwards. People are just not who they seem to be. So you leave the build. You go in and out of this building a couple times in this dream, right? Did I follow that correctly?
Yes.
Okay, so you leave the building and it's on beams, and you find a couple that hurt you. I don't know if it's a couple that was in the church that you were talking about before, but a couple in your past life that had hurt you, but they're still trying to give you advice about how to navigate your way out of the building. And you take their advice, is that right? And move on, get out safely. But then you come back with another woman. And as John said, the pier that you cross over, and you're being chased by nefarious men. It's kind of a spiritual warfare piece of this. Put on the full complement of the gospel armor. So this is an encouragement to armor up. Go into Ephesians 6 and read about that, and pray that God teaches your hands to war, because evil doesn't sleep, and these nefarious men are going to be chasing you your whole life. And the good and encouraging part is one word will chase them away and make them flee, because you are a child of the Most High and have authority that they don't, and they have to listen to you and flee in the name of Jesus. And so you go back in again, and there's now the place has got zombies. This is awesome. This is like a horror movie. And so you exit the building again, and you run into the shrubs, but there are people that are panicking, going in and out of these things. And when you go in, you find these massive creatures. This is kind of like you're upgrading your spiritual warfare. Things are getting harder and harder. It's almost like training ground for you. It's like navigating through the maze of an absolutely horrible building in the beginning. And the first thing you have to confront is a little boy. And then you got the men chasing you, and then you got, the nasty people who try to help you out. It's kind of, who do you trust? Who do you not trust? Well, trust in the Lord, and he won't depart from you ever. So you go into the shrubs, and this creature is chasing you. But do you ever fight the creatures when you're in there, or you just kind of avoid them and escape somehow?
Yeah, just running from them.
Okay. So anyway, whatever tactics you used, you got away from them. And when you got out, it's like you're done. The trial is over. And you get in front of this place that's just peaceful. It's beautiful. This beautiful glass building is in front of you, and it's square, right? Everything is right angles.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed, when you were describing it, it's not what the New Jerusalem is going to look when it plunks down on the earth here somewhere. But it just kind of reminded me of this majestic place that's just tranquil and clean, and it's an inviting place for you to stay, and nothing's going to harm you if you go in there. That there's something inside there that would protect you from any evil that would be possibly out there. So I think it's almost a foretelling of, just be of good courage. You're going to face trials in this life, and it seems like this dream takes you through a whole bunch of different ones, different scenarios that you may have already faced in your life. But in the end, there is a place to escape, in a place of peace, and that's in Jesus. But this glass building, if you can find this glass building, let us know where it is, because it sounds like an awesome place. Yeah, John, what'd you get?
Go ahead. What were you going to say, Merisuzan?
So when I started writing out my dream, I felt like the Lord was showing me that the building of many story was me, and that it's broken down, but it still has functional places, that it's being restored, starting with the foundation. The foundation that they were installing was thick concrete pillars, and the mid-level was where the kitchen seemed to be, and it was functional, but the rooms at the top where the boy was, feel like God was saying that's where my husband is, and that he is the top or the head of my house. But even the thought of me speaking help to him, he shuts me down. And then the people from my past, there are people that have been hurt by, but I have forgiven them, and they were helping me get safely on my path. I had to go outside of the building or myself to get help. There were attacks and people coming in and out of my life, but in the end, I made it out to a place of peace and openness. And my new building, or my new body, my new self, was modern, made of glass, so I could see every part clearly. And it was made of straight lines and right angles.
That's cool.
That is
Yeah,
cool.
clearly and very sharp defined structures. So yeah, I think that's a good dream.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love what you saw about the pier. Those were like the places, and Neil, the things you're talking about, the warfare and putting on the armor, like those were the things that didn't get addressed in what the Lord showed me. So that's good.